If you're watching this video, you've probably seen the Mr. Incredible Uncanny memes. If you haven't, then who are you? And also, here's some examples. Some people make this uncanny format into uncanny facts. I'll be taking out my teacher glasses and seeing if these videos are accurate or not. Fact or cap, as the kids say nowadays. The video I reviewed is in the description if you want to check it out and leave a like or something. Anyways, let's get started. This one is true, but boring. Let's move on. Hitler was a very strong activist for animal rights. While he was leader of Germany, vivisections, or the practice of cutting open live animals for science, was banned. There was a major political leader in Germany at the time, named Hermann Goering. He stated that, quote, "Those who still think that they can continue to treat animals as inanimate property will be sent to concentration camps." There are a million different things that could come out of my mouth right now, but because I'm such a chill dude, I'm gonna leave it at this was probably the most idiotic statement for any human being to utter in the last 100 years. Alfred Porter Southwick apparently first used his big fancy toy by euthanizing stray dogs for experiments at Buffalo, New York's Society for Prevention of Animal Cruelty. Then he realized, oh, death penalty, and used his invention for those purposes. He made it a chair because it was familiar to how he performed on his patients. Now, this is fucking terrifying on a multitude of levels. In his mind, operating on patients and executing the worst people alive were so similar that he could use the same tool to do both tasks. And this is reason number 2 on why I think dentists are secretly evil. Not only do you have a chance of dying from a blood vessel rupturing, but you also have a chance of going deaf and or rupturing your throat. This one is notably horrifying because I do this in class on a daily basis. And based on how many anime girl sneezes I hear at school, I know I'm not the only one. Now, as my boy Grade A Underray would tell me, this spider is 100% real. It's apparently called the Brazilian wandering spider, or the Viagra spider by the classy individuals at the Daily Mail. It's around 15 centimeters in size, and the females are typically bigger than the males. This spider is usually found in urban regions, mainly in people's places of residence. And no, Brazil is not the only place that has these spiders, in case that was bothering you. A woman named Ashley Gamble from Leicester in the UK reported to the news that dozens of spiders emerged from the fruit that they had bought. Now, Mr. Gamble moved his family out of the house, and the exterminators had to heat up the house to around 60 degrees Celsius to kill any spiders that were still there. For anyone making jokes about the spiders, I salute you. Moving on. This one's kinda confusing to me, because if you know anything about hands, is that they're super bony. There's barely any muscle in them. I'd personally think that the parts of the body with the most meat on them would be the tastiest, like the stomach, or the thigh. Or the lack of a dirty joke here. Too easy. I also didn't see the palm of the hand mentioned in any cultural cannibalism, which is surprisingly common, and something that is going to make the bots at YouTube kindly place my channel into the garbage bin. This one's just true. That's all I have to say. Johann Dewitt was the Dutch Prime Minister until he was stabbed by someone, who the wiki article does not care to mention, on June 21st, 1672. He later resigned on August 4th of that same year. He and his brother were later executed, and their dead bodies were hung on the gibbet for display, and their livers were roasted and served to the mob. The tongue-eating louse does what the name implies. It detaches the fish's tongue and replaces it with its own self. Fun fact, it's actually the only species on Earth that replaces an organ in an animal's body. Robert Hansen was a serial killer who was born in Etherville, Iowa. His reign of terror started by burning down a fucking school bus garage because he wasn't popular in high school. His wife wasn't too keen on the whole school bus vandalism thing, so she left him. He moved from his small town in Iowa to Anchorage, Alaska, where he would reside for the rest of his life. He owned a plane garage like 50 kilometers away from Anchorage, which I found really strange researching this, because if he was already incarcerated for burning down a school bus garage and stealing things, you would think nobody in the right mind would sell this guy a plane, right? Oh, dear viewer. Human beings will always find new ways to surprise you. So his whole serial killer routine was to get a sex worker off the street, pick her up, hold her at gunpoint, and bring her to his house for him to rape her. This is where it gets weird. He would drive out to his plane garage where he would put the young lady in his plane, fly out to the middle of nowhere. Then, he would release her and hunt her like she was some kind of animal. And that was the Mr. Incredible video. I'd give it a solid A-, because the only thing that I didn't find correct was the cannibalism remark. Other than that, it was pretty good. Pretty factual. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, bell, comment, any idea you want me to do. I'll do a part 2 for 100 likes. Anyways, see ya.